Welcome back, everyone. I want to do a video on the best time to acquire, really. What's the best time to actually buy Dogecoin? I did a video yesterday on triple witching, what that meant, what the options were doing behind the scenes, the positions that they were taking, but also gave some insight on what we can expect for the next few days and really just how normal it is at this time. This happens every year around this time. We have this turnover, this swap, this regathering of positions to reassess the first quarter and really, excuse me, really how they're doing and what they need to make adjustments on to hit their targets. So as we go through this period and this big swap, we have opportunities that present themselves, right? And really just want to know, okay, what's the best opportunities? Where can we expect to kind of pick up the most coins? So we're going to take a look here at a few different coins that you may be holding and give you that insight as far as what can be a great deal for the time that we're in right now. So we talked about the 15-cent mark and where Dogecoin is, the consolidation period, the wedge here. I left everything on the charts and built it out. Even the time frame that we can go sideways, everything's here. So the best deal, because the video I did earlier this morning, I was talking about the 15-cent level, and people were asking how likely is it that we go to 12, and I was stating that it is unlikely based off of the size of the candles that we're seeing and the momentum that's coming into the crypto market. So that brings me into question, okay, if we have these points where we can get pushed down, where's the best time to buy? And these are the times really are inside of this wedge, right? So kind of like where we closed at 15 here, but we got pushed down to 1274. But where did we close? At 15. So anything inside of this wedge, so we're talking 15 and below, right? So even here, we got pushed down to 1474. But where did we close? 1578. So we can, and even here, we got pushed down. That was low 15s, but we got rejected, but we still closed above it. Anything that you can catch inside of this wedge. So we're talking, I'd say 1530, 1540 and below. Right now, that puts us probably at around 1338, maybe a slight overshoot to around the 12 range. That is going to be the opportune time to acquire at this time. So, because basically what we've seen here, even if you go back here on our green days where we got pushed up from, is we have these push downs where they're trying to get the coin down, and that just presents itself as a very that 12-cent level that we did not stop at, that we blew through. That is literally acting as like a spring or a trampoline right now, and we bounced off of it like 4 times. The last time we go there, and we end up closing back at 15. So from 12 to 15, we're talking about a 3-cent jump in a single day, right? That's how strong that it's been bouncing off of the 12-cent level. So if you're able to purchase it at 12 cent, you can actually gain a decent percentage in a day here based off of where we're closing out on the daily. So for Dogecoin, if you're looking into acquire anything inside of this wedge, is going to be absolutely golden. Now, if you've been acquiring here, that's fine, but you are requiring at resistance. If you can get it below the resistance, because this is typically going to be the playground of where it's going to be bouncing until it's able to break through that 18-cent level. So if you can get it below resistance, that's going to be absolutely golden. And so when you have the support level here, anytime you can get a candle that pushes through the support level, if you can get it below there, that's absolutely amazing. Because again, for 100% of the time that we came to this level and we went below it, we got pushed, we closed back up at the level. So it's almost like a no-brainer when it comes down to being able to acquire inside of that zone. Let's take a look here. Matter of fact, let's take a look at shorts before I go to Bitcoin. So shorts in Doge are coming out. They are not. See, and that's the thing too. You would think that since it's red, quote unquote, you would think that these candles would be doing something like this here. You think you have this big green candle here because they believe that the asset's going to go down. And, as we looked at yesterday, we took a look at puts and calls and the options and kind of like what they were doing and whether or not they were betting that Dogecoin was going to be bullish going forward. We saw that overwhelmingly they were betting that it was going to continue to be bullish. And so now we're not seeing that sentiment of saying that, okay, well, we believe Doge is going to go down there, or at least go down enough for us to take considerably enough for us to take a profit. So we're not seeing that action in shorts or in puts. So very interesting behavior here if you're wondering what the tone is for the market. Oh, let's go to BTC. In fact, I think I have it on Bitstamp. Yeah, I did. Okay. So where we're looking at here, we had this push up here yesterday where we were down to around 64, 65, and we pushed up a back above trend. We haven't closed today yet. And this is kind of like the opportune time to buy. If this is the current trend and we're able to break down below it, even where we are right now, this would be considered a buy zone because this is the retest area. This was the previous trend. This is, well, even here, we haven't closed below it to kind of invalidate it yet. But even if we close below it, this would be the previous trend. And then you're saying, okay, well, what does it mean for these wicks that break below it? These are the buy zones. You see an example here where we were pushed down to 59,000, but we still closed above it. We were pushed down to 65,000, but we still closed above it. And we have even all the retests along the lines here. So this puts you really in proximity, saying that anything below this trend line right now, until we get, like, unless we came down to 63,000, and then we're saying, okay, well, we're breaking actual support, and we may actually do a deeper retracement to gain a footing. This here is going to be the playground for now. So you're going to say, okay, well, this here is going to be my buy zone, so I'm not buying at resistance. So you're seeing this across the board. This is not exclusive to Dogecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum. This is a market thing. You're seeing the options roll over. Bitcoin had over 3 billion alone in options that expired Friday. So you can expect this to kind of happen throughout the weekend. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum here is headed back down, searching for previous support. Again, this is what I meant by those weaker candles. We're talking about the trend weakening because of the small candles here. See how quickly they're filling. This is what I meant by trend. This is a very easy tell, when you are on a trend and can say, okay, well, how likely is this to retrace? How likely is this to search for liquidity or at least a better footing here with a support zone? And when that trend starts getting weak and those candles start getting small, that you can consider that as power or aggression, momentum, or weakening, however you want to put it. Just know that it will soon follow. Like, if these candles aren't strong and you start having wicks that are longer than the candle consistently, you can best believe that it's going to search for some liquidity relatively soon. And we're seeing that now. We're probably going to see maybe another $100 drop before we see some bounces from Ethereum. But again, now that we're on the other side of those candles here, that's put Ethereum in the buy zone. If we break below 35.29 range, like 35.30 range, then absolutely. Because then that's going to put us right here in this gap. So we could see a bigger push down. This is unlikely going to 3,100, but we could see a bigger push down and absolutely buy in that zone. Absolutely. So let's see here. Let's take a look here. Cardano. Very curious here. Yeah, it's happening across the board. Now, Cardano is already at that's at support here. So if we break below this, we're probably gonna see a drop to around 633. So around 63 cents. So about 10-cent drop. So that is kind of where we're looking as far as for the zone. So even here for Cardano, if you are in ADA, if you wanted to kind of get in here, we're at that mark. Certainly if we because even right now you could say, okay, well, this is the buy zone because technically we're at the floor here. But if you're able to catch one of these wicks, because it's doing something similar like Dogecoin, where it gets pushed down below the floor, but it gets pushed back up because people are like, oh, it's in my zone now, I'm going to buy it, and it gets pushed back up. Even though it's still a red day, it still closes that support, even though it got pushed past it. So I hope that makes sense. But certainly, if we're able to break below where we are now, that is certainly a great time to buy in, because you'll see the wicks here on these candles about where it gets pushed up at. So similar action happening across the board, but this is absolutely a great time to get in here, especially depending on like your DCA. I know if your DCA is like 6 cents, you're like, oh my God, I want it lower. This is going to raise my DCA. But just kind of keep in mind what's going on and the time frame, because let's say these swaps are done Monday, Tuesday, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then it starts retesting the higher level again. Then you'll be upset. And again, not financial advice, but just kind of keep that in mind. You have these opportunities that present themselves over the course of the cycle, right? The bull run is typically on average around 18 months. So there'll be times when you're able to accumulate inside that bull run before we get to peak bull run, right? It's not going to, we're not going to have green candles for 18 months straight. So there'll be periods of time where consolidations, retracements, some points in time where we struggle with like resistance. It's not going to be a consistent run for green days for 18 months. So just kind of keep in mind that it may not always go back to, sometimes it may not even always go back to previous resistance areas. So sometimes it may blow through areas that were supposed to be resistance. It kind of like what we saw at 12 cents. So again, we are trend wise, we are ahead of where we've been in previous bull cycles. So this is one of the reasons why I'm optimistic on where this is going to go. But just kind of keep in mind that we have to kind of make adjustments and see exactly what the charts are telling you. So that being said, if you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel. Again, we are pushing for 100,000 subs this year. Love to have you be in that number. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the next video.